Then we had a nice point here about acknowledging the prior knowledge of a teacher.
Oh yes. Prior knowledge.
You know, they all come out of different kinds of training, but they've all got certain skills and certain values and valuable, how do I put it? They can bring something very valuable to the table in every school.
How do we standardise prior knowledge
Yeah.
if it's at all possible?
Tricky.
And how do we do that in terms of professionalising?
Well, it's interesting that they're talking about induction of teachers at a school where everyone finds out more about the teacher and sees what, not in a top-down way, but in some form of just allowing the teacher to be noticed and heard.
I think it's about how, maybe we've got to look at what induction means, and again, how do we standardise induction, but it's about, induction is about self-development and support.
Yes.
And what does that mean? And then maybe that leads into mentoring, is that what we were saying? That perhaps mentoring could be put onto the table and you could actually get some CPD points for it or something.
And saying if you brought in a mentor to mentor the teachers, and they went through a more formal interaction, and that was then evaluated in some way with points. The other one was that professional teachers need to acknowledge their own knowledge gaps and look at their own self-esteem issues and be able to ask questions when they need to, and that's not possible if you're not in an enabling environment.
We spoke pretty much about the same things in terms of acknowledging prior knowledge. So we spoke about maybe doing a baseline survey to determine what teachers don't know, so that they actually teach what they've been, influence what they're being taught on or trained on.
Okay, so you need to be able to do baseline.
Rather than having, calling teachers into kind of a generic workshop, they determine this is where our knowledge gaps are, and this is what we want to learn.
Also about changing the attitude of teachers, not wanting to be observed, understanding that they should be, it's a developmental thing.
But this confidence and self-esteem are not, and willing to be observed.
Yes, even, most of the time it's a top-down. It always helps when it's a bottom-up. You are an HOD, you ask your teachers to come and observe you. Then it makes them easy to say, okay, this time I'm going to tell me where I'm doing well, because there are good teachers who are not HODs. And then it makes it very easy. It does not become top-down all the time. And they understand that they are being developed.
APTIS is the, as far as I know, it's the English proficiency test where teachers will take the test and it will assess them as to their level on English proficiency, and if they don't rate or get a certain rating, it will then direct them as to their weak areas and where they can go for help. And then we've got, I think as far as I know, Pearson is busy working on the maths diagnostic test that should come out in July as well. Maths teachers take the test, find out where their gaps in the learning content would be, and then what they need to go and focus on with training.
Go to the Free State, around the mountains, there's a problem of data. So if principals around that area meet, they can talk about how are we dealing with that problem, because they're in the very same area and they're dealing with the same challenges.
That's called communities of practice,
yes.
And that's something that Bridge is doing already across Gauteng, for instance.
As well as those teaching.
And they call them professional learning communities for teachers.
New areas in maths, new chapters that have been added, and so on.